Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome to week 6 of my personal soul path. The ups and the downs, the learnings I have, and what I will implement more into my life. I'm doing this serious because I've started to fully trust my personal soul path. I started to trust signs even though they might not make sense. I started to go into the unknown and losing a lot of security. I'm sharing all this with you because I truly believe that some of the parts of my own experience might help you with your own experience in life. So let's come, as usual, to the things I'm proud of last week. During this whole week, what I was proud of is especially that I found my way back into spirituality. After having profound discussions with extremely dogmatic Christians who really wanted to put that religiousness over me to save me, I simply by doing the Rise Up and Shine University, which is a membership university from the most well-known spiritual coach in Germany, Laura Marlina Seiler. I love her work, and simply by coming back to how she talks about how you find your own sense of spirituality. While I was so open to what other people are doing, and I'm always curious on getting to know different sides of life and accepting every single person as he or she is, I came to setting better boundaries, and I came to, even though I'm open and accepting and loving and nurturing everyone as he or she is, I came to learn more to withdraw myself from certain people, from beliefs, practices that I don't align with, and that there is no right or wrong way. And I don't want anyone to believe that there is that one right or wrong way, because in fact there isn't. And I will give you a little side anecdote, and I will make a reel on it on Instagram too, because what I've seen is even that one of our family's friends, he really started to have extreme intrusive thoughts that are extremely unhealthy, and since over 8 years now, he's really struggling with it, and they're completely ruining his life. And where those intrusive thoughts come from is from Bible verses, because he thought like he's losing his salvation because he's done this and that, that like he even ruined his whole dating life. He was single for 10 years now, and simply because one woman said she doesn't believe that, even though she's Christian, she said she doesn't believe that there is that one path to salvation that is only through Jesus Christ. And he said, okay, I don't want to be the man whose children have a mother that says that. And even though he said everything with that woman was so perfect and they wanted to see each other again, and there was such a spark already during the first date, he quit dating with her immediately, while he's single for over 10 years now. And while they both thought they are a perfect match despite of that one belief they have. And my thought on it was, I told that friend, what if simply by you following through with your spirituality, with your sense of believing in salvation, if you would have taught all of that to your children, what if they in return would believe you? What if maybe you shaped the beliefs of your wife, if like this went out a good path, or at least if you would given her 2 or 3 dates more? And he was basically so dogmatic with every single thing the Bible says, pushing people away from his life that were good for him, that maybe gave him a good opportunity for learning, because he was clinging on to verses and to his dogmatism. And coming back to the point I'm extremely proud of that I really separated myself from that dogmatism while I was extremely open to it. And I started to read some Bible verses that also were really good for me and brought me a sense of peace and joy and a different sense of love and identity I did not know before. I'm proud of finding myself back to the practices that just fuel my soul and that are just good for me. And with this, I want to encourage you that if you found one practice that is good for you, for me, it is drinking cacao and connecting to Mother Earth. And while Christians say you cannot see Mother Earth, you shall not be preying upon the sun or the earth or whatever. It is all God's creation. I went back to it. I went back to my practices. I did not overwhelm myself with what the Bible says, what dogmatic Christians say. No, I know what is good for me. And if people who don't know me and don't even ask what I need, what I like, how I feel, try to simply push something over me, and I'm open for it and I'm getting even more confused with it, or it's just something that isn't good for me, I stop it. And I believe that every one of us knows what is good for him or for her if you try out some things. And then, you know what, just stick to it. You don't have to reinvent yourself over and over. You don't have to be open for everything in this world. You may come to the point where you say, I know myself. I know what's good for myself. And I don't have to be talked into every single thing. I don't have to try out every single thing at a certain point in life anymore. A good example is my best friend from Germany. She said she tried out so many types of sports and yoga was the best thing for her. And right now, she doesn't feel the urge to search for new hobbies whatsoever anymore. She knows yoga and learning languages. These are her things. It's just her thing. And you know what? If it's your thing, stick to it. Be true to yourself. Don't try to... I think it's always cool to be open, try out something new if it comes your way. Maybe there are great lessons for you to have. But honestly, I believe that if you have your thing, you're allowed to stick with it. You don't have to reinvent yourself over and over again. And it is okay if you deny other people and what they're doing. If it's good for them, let them do it. And what I've seen, it's obviously for some people not. For some people it is. The whole Bible and Jesus thing. And for me, it's not the way. I don't deny it. It's okay if people think it. I have my own spiritual practices, and that is totally fine. And I'm fucking not going to hell for it. I'm not losing any sort of salvation. I'm not a bad person for it. And if you are a Christian, if you're reading the Bible, whatever it is, I also want to encourage you to not be so hard on yourself. The Bible and God and everything that comes with it is here to guide you, to connect yourself with your truth, with everything around you, with miracles, with abundance. It is not something that should scare you off. It is not something that wants to put pressure on you. Yes, there are certain rules and good things and kind of laws that we should not dismiss in our society, like being good to one another, helping, not talking bad about the poor, but wishing best for others, but also kind of giving punishment and not letting everyone go away with the bad things he or she is doing. I started with reading the Proverbs in the Bible, and this I can really recommend. It's got related to my psychology study, a lot of things that are just like the simple self-development rules. And this I found very interesting. Also the stuff on relationships in there, on how to not be seduced, ruin your marriage, stuff like that. It was really interesting. So that's it for that point. And the second thing I'm really proud of this week is that I booked the Wild Woman's Heart membership with Sophia Sundari because I acknowledged it is something my soul is soul is drawn to. And if you know me, if you follow me for a little bit longer now, you know I'm a really self-reflected person, and I try to see what is something I really want that really is good for me, and what are things that are not, or where maybe marketing is in the way, because marketing of a person made me feel like I need it, even though it's maybe more confusing for me. This is like a really love-hate relationship I have with social media, because I think there are so many nice things we can share, but it can end up in you thinking you lack, if you thinking you need something to get to a certain point in life, while it's maybe just confusing you and messing you up. And this is again why I believe going back to silence, knowing how to reconnect with your soul, with your spirit, with your higher guidance, is, for me at least, might not be for you, but I think it's a great tool to listen deeply and know what it is that you truly need. Because here's one side story to it. My soul was really, before I was using social media, especially if on the at the point in my life where I was not using it for work, my soul had the very urge to work online, to have a remote job that is part-time, that is still earning me good money, and maybe even where I can do sales, but not as I did before, but simply connected to my psychology studies, to self-development, to contributing to something good, and have a more complex sales process where I can deepen my skills and be more involved into the sales process. My soul was always yearning to go to Thailand. I did not know why. And while I was in Thailand, I met a great mentor who became, like, his job is to be mentor, and he became a lover and a really good friend. And he brought me to doing sales online. He said, Kinga, you know what? In our company, we are using a remote sales team, and you can earn great money with it. And especially in that field of sales where you're paying thousands of euros for mentoring, for example, your sales skills have to be really, really good and follow a whole different approach than what most people think sales is. Because it's more like coaching, more going into the deeper wants of that person and what is lacking, and whether that product, that mentorship is really a great fit, because you don't want to have unsatisfied customers if you're working with them one-on-one. You really want to have great results. So this is just an example for you that sometimes it's good to not be on social media. Sometimes it's good to withdraw yourself, because your soul automatically makes you feel drawn to certain places, to certain people. And for me, following those callings led me to places where my life is starting to become more and more aligned with what I see for my future and what fuels my soul fully. It started with following that calling to move to Thailand, to go there. It started with asking that man, like, what he's doing, just getting in contact with him. It started with me and him developing a deeper relationship. It continued to me going in that high ticket sales, which got me to the point of working fully remote part-time and earning the same as I did in my full-time job. So this is just a little anecdote on the black and white side of social media, of talking to other people, of getting advice, because I believe that our soul is always making you feel drawn to something in your life, and that if you follow it, you will get the right opportunities, you will get the right lessons, you will come towards the right people. And being on social media sometimes gives you the false picture in mind that you're getting advice, you're getting ahead in life, while actually what is happening is you are being confused. You are getting more and more away from your inner knowing, because your soul always knows what's right for you and what's best for you. And all those marketing strategies, all those hooks, all those experts, They're displaying a really strong image that wants you to be drawn into something. And I don't like that. There's that one part of me that believes the right people would come to it, and it is great because there are great healers, coaches, therapists, all out there on social media, and they are visible, so it is easier than ever before to find help and to attract the right people. And maybe your soul knows, wow, I'm so drawn to it, not because of the marketing, but because this will give me a huge leap in life. And it will transform my life so much for the better and so much faster than if I was to go all that journey alone. Because that coach, that mentor, that healer already did all that work and can help me move through it faster and with a person on my side, which makes it always nicer and easier. I can always recommend to not do your healing work all the way alone. Yes, you don't always need the next coaching session, you don't always need the next mentoring, the next online course. You don't need to spend all of your money on it. Yet I can say that I had the biggest leaps working with other people, buying courses. So much to it. On the other hand, I believe that most of the answers we have within us, we just have to be able to listen to it, to receive the answers, and to acknowledge ourselves for all that there is inside of us. Because if we don't acknowledge all of that, we get lost. We deny ourselves even more and we start to fight inner battles. But the moment you listen, the moment you acknowledge yourself and your soul for what you should be doing, that moment you can lead your life from your heart. You can lead your life in alignment with your soul path. That moment you can find peace and you don't have to fight wars against yourself. Start overthinking, start feeling uncomfortable, start maybe even getting anxious, maybe even getting psychic disorders, all those stuff. This is a downward spiral of you not listening to yourself and your soul and not acting upon it. And therefore, fighting against yourself, dismissing yourself. And this is why I'm so proud of joining the 2-month cycle of the Wild Feminine Heart with Sophia Sundari. Because coming back to it, I really was like, she spoke to me. Her whole journey was the exact same steps I encountered. The whole story she was sharing about herself on social media. Yet, I know she's way beyond where I am now. And I know that my soul path is still evolving. I know that my outer reality and my inner reality, they're a match, and I've done a lot. And I know that there is so much more to come. And I acknowledged myself that I would love to learn from her. I would love to be in that community of like-minded spiritual women. So I allowed myself to join it. And something really personal that I also encountered last week that I'm proud of, or that was a huge part of my journey and my learnings, is I was living at a friend's house last week and he was paying for everything. He was taking me out to dinner every single night. He was paying my groceries. He was paying my, at the, I don't know, the convenience stores where you buy like your toothbrush, your shampoo, all that stuff. He paid for all of it. And he's not like a super rich friend. He's just got like a normal 9-to-5 job. And why it was so crucial for me to experience kind of being spoiled is because all my life I've been paying for myself. Yes, my parents supported me and I'm more than grateful for that. So I had a nice time studying psychology and not having to work so hard and so much. Yet what was so interesting is that simply by having that experience, how it is that someone else takes care of you financially completely. And I found myself asking every single time, hey, can I PayPal you something? Like, can I pay this? He was like, no, it's like, it's my pleasure. I love to invite my friends. And it was such a new feeling for me because he's a male friend. Having that experience that there is one man that spoils you, that gives you, I don't, at that point, I don't want to say he gives you all, because we don't have a romantic whatever relationship, but in a father sense, I could sense that there is a relationship possible for me where I receive everything from my man, where I don't feel bad about it, where I don't feel the urge to pay back financially. Because in my last relationships, I have been the woman who's been paying for vacations, for the apartment, who's been doing all the paperwork, who's been doing the grocery shopping. I was doing so much. And it wasn't completely one sided, but there was that part of me that is longing for a man who takes care of me, who can provide for a family if we choose to have children, to be able to relax into that mother role, into also having some time to run my business and do all the things that I love so much. Serving you, building a spiritual community, sharing all my knowledge and the love with you. And I found myself this week acknowledging that there is that part of me who wants to be spoiled and taken care for so badly. That part of me was so huge that only you are walking through life alone so much. You're taking care by yourself for all those things. You are the person so many people and friends are looking up to, who's got figured out everything on her own and who's being asked for advice. And yes, I could finally acknowledge that part of me who just wants to be taken care of, who doesn't have to have responsibility at all, and who's even being spoiled financially. And what I'm also extremely proud of, or a huge realization I had, is that I want to share more about acknowledging yourself. Because even today, I reflected on my past customers. All my customers who came to me for sound healing, spinal attunement, journaling rituals, all that nice stuff. They came to me because they said, Kinga, I'm so interested, I want to try it out. Or wow, I hear your crystal singing bowls and they relax me. And they said they just want some relaxation. But I truly believe now, reflecting on all of my clients today, that their soul was drawn to me because they knew there's a bigger process and a bigger shift on my whole energetic system and on all layers of my whole being going to happen. Because what happened in every single session is, in every single one-on-one call and every single one-on-one offline session, what happened is that there was so much pain within that person, so many parts they did not acknowledge about themselves. And when I start working with my clients, I always go deep in what's going on in your life right now. I truly want to understand you, to be able to give you the best experience and give you what you really need. No matter what you came for. You always get what you need. And here's the nice part about it. What happened with my clients is that we got to patterns, to past experiences that you were holding on to so much, and that drained yourself emotionally so much, and that gave you that unease. And here's the thing, all those parts we put consciousness into, we could resolve easily. There is so much energy that being freed, and there's such a freedom of bringing consciousness and awareness to those parts of you who are hurt as fuck, who are not comfortable. And if you only say, it's fine if you come to me and you say you only want to relax, to come down, but what I see and what I feel and what I know is there are parts of you that are hurt, that you are neglecting, that you are not taking serious, and where you don't take the look at. And it is okay, because it is overwhelming and not safe if you look at all those parts and you don't know how to handle it, because it is a huge process happening, and we're not meant to be doing all of this alone. It can be a hard process. While what my clients experience is ease, is a very gentle process that is yet still so powerful and resolves that trauma. Where did I even came from? Yes, the realization of what I'm proud of, to acknowledge all those parts of myself, acknowledge that part of myself that wants to be taken care of. And this is an invitation for you to also acknowledge all those parts of yourself, because this is what I see within my clients, that there are parts within themselves, traumatized parts, insecure parts, hurt parts that they did not look at. And yes, it is normal because you don't know how to resolve it, and it might be too much for you to go through it alone. But please don't deny that those parts of yourself are there. Please don't press them away, because this is where you come to the point where you say, Kinga, I need your support. I need a sound healing. I need a spinal attunement session with you, because there is so much that you've been denying about yourself, so much that is lingering within your whole nervous system that makes you feel unease. And this is your body telling you that there is something and you're not looking to it. And if you deny it for too long, this is where you will get sick. This is where you develop symptoms, autoimmune diseases, chronic diseases. And this is something I could talk about every single day. So I hope you take this message serious, because it is not a theoretical concept. It is something I see every single day in my family, in my friends. They deny parts of themselves. They deny their inner truth, the things that they know, that they should quit their job, that they should leave that relationship. They don't do it. They know they have severe childhood trauma. They don't open themselves up for the process that can be very hard. And my approach is to make healing easy for you. While I have gone to healing processes that were not so easy and not so fun at all, with transgenerational trauma I did not even know I was holding within my system, that was giving me blocked doors, especially in my relationship life, but also in my career. And you don't have to go through hard processes like that. My work is gentle. My work makes you feel like you're nearly falling asleep, but your nervous system is releasing so much. And some people even say it feels like God or something higher is protecting them and taking that all away from them. And this is what my work does. So if you feel like very touched right now and you feel like this is you, feel free to write me an email. Feel free to write me a DM on Instagram, on social media, or comment below, and I will come back to you and we can talk together, see if you would like to work with me. Because if this touches you, I'm more than pleased to help you and make your life a better one, and give you the tools also long term, how you can implement your healing journey, that healing tools within yourself, to be independent from my work and be able to go through challenges that come up in the future on your own too. And yeah, this topic is just so important to me. And this is so beautiful. The next thing I'm proud of is that I got the feedback that I'm the light for others. One of my customers said to me that he had like very disruptive thoughts that make him feel like not himself, not being able to concentrate even while driving his car. It's like bad thoughts coming over him. And while he was driving and those thoughts came up, and he, before working with me, was not able to get rid of those thoughts, he said in that one moment those thoughts popped up, he simply saw my face, and simply by seeing my smile and me in front of him, all those thoughts were like washed away, and that I am right now his source of light and peace in his life. And this is one of the most beautiful things and feedbacks I have ever gotten, that simply by thinking of me, all those bad things are washed away. And this is something I'm extremely grateful for, to experience how my being is reflecting on the well-being of others, simply my being, and how that is also coming towards other people through my work. And I want you to never underestimate how your being, only the way that you are, is impacting the lives of others. And especially if you start living in alignment with yourself, if you start listening to what it is that you're meant to be doing, if you follow the signs that sometimes seem so ridiculous or are sometimes expensive. I spent thousands of euros on my teacher trainings, on travelings I've been doing, but it's been the most rewarding and most life-changing experiences of my life. So I can truly encourage you to do the things that your heart is yearning for, even if it costs a ton of money, because I promise you it will either way lead you to the life you've always dreamt of, makes you a person that is more in ease with him or herself because you trust yourself and your higher guidance, and you will have moments that will stay forever within yourself, that will live forever in yourself, those happy moments, those happy places, and you will forever be grateful for that. And it will lead you to the right people you get to know, to the things you need to learn, to your passions. I discovered my passion of sound healing and spinal attunement simply by following through with all those signs. Wow. And these are all the things that I'm proud of this week. And I hope that this inspires you in some way to anything you can do with your life and how you approach your life. Coming to the second question, as always, what gave me energy? And to be honest, there are only 2 things for this week. It was going to the gym again, because traveling so much right now, I had not my go-to gym and my routine with it. And also my morning walks. I know that going out, being in nature, enjoying the sun without my phone every single day, or recording my Instagram stories for you while I'm on my morning walks, this is something where I am so in peace. I love being in nature and I don't deny it. And I know that it is so good for me, so I try to implement it really every single day. Coming to right now, I don't want to be talking about all the things I've got figured out in my life, all the things I'm learning, all the things I'm proud of. We are all human beings and life is not always the fun sides. Coming to what drained my energy last week. Question number 3. It was definitely the discussions about the dogmatic biblical things. As I said, I was so open to all of the discussions, and I tried to listen other people's perspectives and maybe help them, or at least give them the room or be open to learn some things. But I acknowledge doing that every single day so often it just sucks. So I'm right now stopping conversations when I know they don't lead anywhere no longer, or that they are coming from a point of projection. Because what I notice is that the people who try to put that whole Christian thing over me were the people who had such severe trauma from being in war, from being abused as a child, so many things, that they really needed their faith in God and Jesus, all those verses in the Bible that they can cling onto. And that is great. And I know that there are many people out there experiencing bad things who would probably not live anymore if they wouldn't have their religion, their scriptures to hold on to. And while those people who were approaching to me with all that biblical stuff were coming from a good place, I truly believe that they also came from a place and I know it because we dived really deep into it, they came from a place of projection. They projected their whole past onto myself without even asking me about my life, how I feel, how I live, what I believe, and simply wanted to put their perspectives onto me without knowing whether I already believed them or not. That's the funny part. And at one point, I just stopped the discussions, and I really confronted people with how dogmatic they are, with how they're not well off with their relationship to God into certain aspects, because they shared with me, and really made them realize that it is also their projections. And while the people I was talking with were clinging so hard onto their beliefs, this is also a nice gem for you, especially if you're in a relationship that is not good for you. If someone is holding on so badly to certain things and you notice it's not good for you, and people are not getting into common sense with you, you're allowed to leave places. You're allowed to leave places that are not good for you. You are allowed to leave places that are not in alignment with you. And I stopped discussions. I set clear boundaries, and I stopped trying to accept everyone, listen everyone out. No, you don't always need to do that. Coming to the next thing, the second thing that drained my energy this week were moving places. Coming also to my gym routine that is not there anymore. And I know for me it's completely okay to move places, but while I'm in the process of learning so much about how I'm showing up on Instagram, on social media, what I want to share with you, finding my style, authenticity is so important for me. And honestly, yeah, they are all those social media tips on viral hooks, this and that, and your strategy and what to say, what not to say. And honestly, authenticity is so important for me. And yet I also want to give you a sense of security, of consistency, all those things I know you as my audience might need to have that special connection with me. Because if we don't have a connection here, all I'm doing doesn't really matter, because I don't do it for myself. I do it for the community I'm building here, for the lives I'm changing here, and for expressing my soul's desires. Yes, of course, too. There are also reasons that are just for myself. And yes, I know moving places is time consuming, and I moved again places this week, and it was kind of energy draining, because I knew I found myself for a week at a friend's house where I find my routine with posting and all that things again, with sports. Now I'm moving again, and I have to find myself again. And this is one learning I can really give to you. If you're changing a lot in your life, try to not make too many changes all at once, because it might be too overwhelming. If you're, for example, starting your business, maybe try to find your routine with posting and all of that first before you move to another country whatsoever. It can be good to switch places, and the new environment, or a certain environment that you choose for yourself, makes it easier for you to step up into new habits, into new patterns, into new activities. But sometimes all those changes, especially if you change a lot regularly, it can be too much for yourself. So focus on one thing you want to implement in your life, give yourself the time until it becomes your new normal, and then you can move ahead. This is one advice I can give to you from my experience. Another thing that drained my energy, if I'm completely honest with you, yes, I signed up for the membership of the Wild Feminine Heart, where I was drawn to so much. And here's the thing that drained my energy. I'm honest, I was overthinking it for 2 days. Every single day before I went to bed, I was like, whoa, I want to sign up. I don't want to miss the start of it. I really, really want it. And I started to read more about the woman who's guiding all of it, about Sophia, listening to her podcast, looking up her website, all of that. And every single time I was like, yeah, I want to do it. I want to do it. I want to do it. And yet I found myself thinking, like, do you really want to spend the money on it? Do you really need that? Is that something that will hold you back from creating further in your own business, because it's another time consuming thing you're investing your time, your energy, and yourself into? And every single night, yet I found myself thinking of that opportunity and wanting to jump in. So if you're into human design, maybe you can also give me an advice or something. I'm open for that. I heard that I'm a generator with emotional authority, with a sacral authority, which means I should my emotions let I should my emotions guide me with my decisions, yet sleep some nights about something so my emotions settle and I don't decide from that place of being totally emotional up or down. So, yeah, find a sense of calmness and still listen to my emotions. I'm honest, you see me even talking with it, I'm even confused because I feel like sometimes the first thing that rises in me is the best thing, and sometimes you have to sleep a night about it and you are more clear. Yet then I feel like, is it then really my emotions that decide? And it's like I should decide on the terms of my emotions, and then it's like, but don't decide from your emotions, like sleep about it. Like, it confuses me, to be honest. So I don't care so much about human design. I feel like we always know ourselves if we just listen. And yes, in the beginning, when I started all of my journey, I read so much of my horoscopes, all those things I could find to understand myself better. And I think it's good for starting with your journey. Yet, why did I even talk about? Yeah, because I was overthinking my decision. And I believe that I came to the point where I said, like, I don't need it. I don't need to do it. But yet, I still want to do it. So I could have also followed that first excitement. Maybe it would have made my days easier to not overthink it. So if you have any advice on that, if you're extremely into human design and you know about 2-5 generators with emotional authority, or if you know a lot about that emotional authority thing, let me know, because I don't get it, to be honest. And I feel I can still get better at making decisions. Coming to the next thing that drained my energy last week. You see, there's been a lot of things that drained my energy last week. It's overthinking my social media strategy and the alignment thing. And this is something I already talked about here in this podcast, so I won't make it too long. And I'm also like very thankful for your opinions on it, because some days I believe I want to make social media just from what comes through me, through my creative self-expression. Some days I feel like I just want to share what comes through me, and I don't want to have that strategy. I don't want to have those hooks, all of those things. If you're a creator, you know what I'm talking about. And on the other hand, I feel like I could still make a strategy, make it aligned with myself, and put my creative sparkles into it. And yet I don't want to press myself into a box. Sometimes I feel like, yeah, posting the fun, easy, nice things, like how to do easy, cool morning routines that change your mood for the whole day, nice journaling tools. This is the things, and like beautiful travel stuff, like how aesthetics nurture my soul, nice interiors, nice restaurants, all of that, like beautiful food. I would want to post all about those things. The next day, I'm like, this is so superficial. I know how to handle deep, fucked up trauma with people, with my work, go through the worst things human beings can experience, and change so much within like 1 hour for that entire human being's life. And I don't want to talk about, some silly morning routines and make fun videos. And see, I think it also comes to acknowledging all parts of ourselves. There's that part of me that wants, the fun, easy, beautiful, nice stuff. Then there's that part of me who discovered a whole dark, not so easy, not so nice world with transgenerational trauma everyone holds in his or her body, with how children are being mistreated, with trigger warning, women who have made a lot of experiences with sexual abuse even in their childhood or even within their family. It's like so gross. And I know how to work with that people. So I know that is so important and something my soul clearly is being led to work within that path. So I'm trying to, not overwhelm myself with making those decisions, staying true to myself, yet not overthinking it. And this is a huge part, and I know within my life, by doing it will all come to peace, make sense, be integrated, and that there's no right or wrong. I only know that whatever I choose for myself, if it's not in alignment with myself, my body will show me. And I feel like even that overthinking stuff was already my body showing me. Go into that deeper side of content. And also focus again more on writing your book, because I'm focusing so much on content creation and my whole social media presence and the whole content and value I want to give to you. And within all of that, for a week, the whole process of writing my book slowed down. And this is something that for over a year now is something I love so much. And there's such a beautiful book in the creation. And I will definitely do a newsletter for you guys, where I will also from time to time share a special chapter of my book with you before it's even released. So if you're interested in that, send me an email with your email already, so I can put you on the waiting list for my newsletter. So you're the first one to not miss any of that I will share exclusively for you before even releasing the book. Coming to the next thing that drained my energy last week, with all that openness and understanding and nurturing and good energy I bring out there, and being there for others, also listening to the problems of my family and friends, I found myself that I started to be in a position where I have to decide, am I taking on the role of the coach and therapist now within that relationship dynamic, private relationship dynamic, or am I just here as a friend now and dropping my thoughts, accusing, stuff like that, just human stuff. And that was not an easy thing, because I know how to change people's lives. And I immediately see patterns, all of that. And I can say to you, it is okay for me, but it was still like, I know I can be that personality who listens and all of that. But honestly, at some points, I don't want to be that person in my private life who listens all the time, who tries to just be so open, so caring, so holding the space. And it is something I think I will completely change, how I approach my friendships and family life right now, and to acknowledge that part of me who just wants to have the fun, the joy, the deep cuddling moments, the experiencing life together moments, the going through situations together, through tears, through realness, through joy, all of that. But especially being that person who initiates fun stuff and makes it a good time, and not having to go into deep talk and holding the space all the time. So this is something I want to change in my private life. The last thing that drained my energy this week, is a toxic environment. I told you I changed places, and I told you that I've been kind of the space holder and kind of coach within my family right now. And coming back from 1 week at living with a friend to my family's house right now, I realized how toxic this environment is for myself. How family members of mine who are traumatized, with whom I did never live before, but now for the first time, how it disrupts my whole system and triggers everything within me as the psychologist who's like, wow, I can see all of the abusive dynamics. I can see all of your problems. I know where they all come from. I know how to handle it. And this is too much for me to have that in my everyday life. Because there is a distinct line also between work and private life. And this is something I really want to give to you. Acknowledge yourself. This is the message of this whole episode here. Acknowledge yourself, because if you find yourself in an abusive, toxic environment, I can swear to you, it will swap over to you. That energy will swap over to you. Even if you, like me, know how to alchemize it, how to regulate your nervous system, how to, do all of that. It takes so much energy to do that while you're in that abusive space. And it might teach you a lot about what's most important to you, about your values, about how you want to live, about how you want to grow, heal, help others, all of that. But honestly, take care for yourself also, and know when it's time to walk away. And you can give people advice, you can try to do something with them, but it's not your job. So honestly, take the signs seriously. And if you feel disrupted and uncomfortable in an environment, you are allowed to walk away from people. You are allowed to say how you feel about it. You're allowed to not stay with people any longer. And you know what? I think that even this act of walking away from someone, and I've seen it a lot in my life, can bring the biggest transformation for the people that need healing. Because the moment you walk away, that resentment might open their eyes even more than any word you can say. So maybe you're thinking right now of a situation in your life that applies to it. Maybe you are in such an environment right now, and I can honestly say to you, the biggest gift you can do for yourself, and maybe even for the people around you, is to walk away. Coming to the fourth and last question of this episode, what I take with me into the next week is definitely lifting weights, doing sports 4 times a week. And if you're my accountability partner, let me know. Practicing yoga regularly again. After that whole Bible discussion, it's like yoga is a no-go. And I really found myself being influenced not doing yoga anymore. And it's like, wow, yoga always has been so good to me. Why did I stop doing it? I'm back to it again. And writing first thing in the morning. Not trying to incorporate all kinds of morning routines that I usually also love into my day. But acknowledging myself that right now it's still writing. I want to write. My soul wants to write. The words want to be written through me. And I acknowledge that every single day now. Then definitely worrying less and following through with what feels right and all the things I still want to explore and grow into and connect with. Learning from my decision from the Wild Feminine Heart. Yes, I did not need to book it, and sleeping about it, I was like, okay, I don't need it, but still I wanted it. So it's okay if you worry less, trying to make right decisions and just become better at deciding. There's no right or wrong, to be honest, in life. There's no right or wrong. And also the outdoor walks, dogs, daily is something I take with me into the next week. What is something you take with you into the next week? It's Sunday and I invite you to reflect on your whole week, do the 4 questions for yourself too. What is something you're proud of? What is something that gave you energy? What is something that drained your energy? And what do you take with you into the next week based on your experience from that week? I hope that this episode inspired you, that walking my personal soul path with all the ups and downs and learnings and how I'm approaching life inspires you, helps you. If there's something that really made click for you, I'm really keen to knowing that. Share it with me. I'm happy to read it. I'm sending you so much love and trust, a beautiful evening, and the best week ahead. See you next week.